I'm now joined with Paul Arsenault. You may know him if you saw the last show we did up here at the Skyhaven Air Show. Paul, how are you today?
Great, Scott. How you doing?
I'm doing great. And you know what? I was going to say you did it again. You did another great show.
Well, we're trying. We're just trying to keep aviation alive here in New England. It's a real difficult thing to do. And to bring something of this magnitude to this area is just fantastic. People love to see this stuff.
They really do. It's fantastic. And we just went through the airplanes, and I'll tell you right now, you weren't going to be a tail gunner.
Not me.
First of all, you're a little too big. I just barely was able to get into that little space. That's incredible. Right. Paul, if you could, maybe you could give your website again and how they can get a hold of, maybe if they have, anybody's ever wanted to take flying lessons, they can call you, they can get a hold of you, go on the website.
Sure, they can contact us by phone. The phone number here is 603-332-0005 or visit us on the web at ospeaviation.com.
Paul, thanks a lot again. Oh, what do you got coming up? Is there any other events? I know we're getting late into the year.
Well, it's kind of late into the season. We might have a couple of surprises coming up this winter. We don't know yet. There's a couple of things we're working on. I really don't want to get into the details.
Sky pilots on ice, perhaps?
You never know.
All right, Paul, thanks a lot. I'm standing here with Mary Ann. We're down here at the World War II airplane fly-in today. And Mary Ann, I was talking to you earlier, but when we were off camera, and I wanted to get a little perspective from a real pilot. You're becoming a pilot right now. You're going through the process of it. Maybe you could just give us a little explanation. A lot of people might have thought about becoming a pilot before, but just never had the chutzpah to become one. What was it like, and what do you do for a living, and maybe what prompted you to get your license?
Well, I'm a housebike right now. For 10 years, I'm a member of New Hampshire Wing Civil Air Patrol. It's the Airport's auxiliary. And we do search and rescue. I know of us quite a bit since the Learjet incident and the Kearsarge incident a month ago. And we do Homeland Security too. And I've been what's called an observer for about 8 years. And I've always wanted to fly since I was a little girl. And I decided to take me to the airport at Barrington, Mass, where I'm from. And we watched airplanes. And about 3 years ago, I left me and my sister some money. And I decided, well, what the heck, I'm going to go get my license. So I've been going here to Skyhaven, and had 4 instructors, but I'm getting toward the end now.
How many years?
Well, for me, I'm going to be 58 years old. It's taking me longer. So
you've taken your kind of time, and that's no big deal, right?
Right.
There's no time limit. You can go do it anytime you want to do it. Have you had a lot of studying to do it? Do you have a lot of book work?
You had to take what's called a written exam. And there's a pool of 600 questions. It's a computer-based one they do here at Skyhaven. And and it's 600 possible question. You have to pass, I don't know, it's a 70 percentile.
Now, was this what you had expected when you were thinking about getting your pilot's license?
You had to take the written.
Well, I meant more is that the experience is what you thought. Is it was as fantastic as you might have thought?
It is being a pilot. I've done a lot, like I said, flying as a right-seater.
Would you like to fly one of these?
No.
Not today?
I'm not interested, no.
How about a gunner? Would you like to be a gunner?
No.
Scott Johnstone for C New Hampshire. Mary Ann, thanks a lot. You were a great guest.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work with the flying.
Right, and also people think about Civil Air Patrol here in our country and help us. We're the eyes of Homeland Sky.
There you go, a little plug.
Wing.
Yeah, thank you. I'm now back here in the tail gunner's spot, and Jim earlier said that any size guy could be back here. I have to find that little cramped for somebody a little bit bigger than me. It's a little tiny space, but it's just a wild sight that you have to the outside. I can only imagine how it would be back in World War II and all kinds of things and bombs bursting in the air and guns coming at you and bullets coming at you. It must have been quite a ride. Nothing that can be beat at the Rochester Fair, I'm sure. Jim, kind of explain where we are now in the plane. We're in the middle part that I would explain it, but I'm sure you've got some terminology that you can explain to us. And this ball here is real interesting. Maybe just tell us what's that all about.
Yeah, this is the ball. We're actually in the waist area of the aircraft. You have 2 waist gunners here, and you also have the ball turret. It's right now in the retracted position, and it would actually extend down with the gunner inside of it. He could get in and out in flight, but the guns had to be straight down and the hatch is exposed here. He could climb in and out, but otherwise he's inside shooting.
He's in.
Yeah.
Now, what'd you call it, the waist?
Waist area.
Waist area. Why do they call it the waist area? Because the other guys out there are going to get wasted?
No, it's the middle of the airplane. It kind of represents the middle of the body, so the waist.
Now, if this guy's not doing his job here, could you actually kind of let this ball just kind of go, just pull a lever and the ball falls out if he's not hitting his targets correctly?
Well, no. The B-17, because it's always extended, and we'll see that probably later, There is a toolkit on board. If they had to belly the airplane in, they could unbolt it so it would come out and it wouldn't break the airplane when they hit, and they could keep on using the airplane because it is a tough airplane. This, they could just bring it right back up into the fuselage, as long as everything was still working right.
There was a movie. Remember that? I think it was Steven Spielberg, American. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
can't remember the name of the movie, but they was
Amazing
had the
Stories.
yeah, Amazing Stories. That
Yeah,
was
Amazing
great. That's
Stories.
kind of always reminds me of this little ball right here.
Right. Yeah, it was a good Hollywood story.
Not a lot of truth to it. At the
Yeah, I
time,
mean, a few guys did get, they were trapped in there, but for the most part, you could get them out. You could hand crank it. Everything has a backup system on this airplane. Everything has a hand crank, and including the ball turret. You can hand crank it up and down. You also hand crank the turret so the guy can climb out.
We call that Plan B.
That's right, inside and out. So
Excellent.
there's all kinds of releases.
Excellent. Thanks, Jim.
Sure.
Jim, we're now in the cockpit, and we just came through the catwalk. It's like a submarine with wings, kind of.
Yeah, actually, the airplane was designed around a boat hull, and the parameters of war changed, and they put a gear on it and made it a bomber. Basically, they took boat technology, but it's small, it's tight. People think it's big, but it's really small.
When it's coming in the air, you think that thing is huge. I mean, that's the first thing I looked at when I looked at it. Wow, in the sky, how many people would typically be in here?
There's a 10-man crew.
Wow,
And
it's not a lot of room.
No, and basically in combat, you'd be in your position, and that would be it. You might take off and land in a seat, but you're basically where you're at for the whole mission, so you wouldn't have to move around a whole lot.
Now, I had a 1966 Karmann Ghia. They had the same exact dials, number and all. It was the same, basically the same thing. Is that probably true or not?
Oh, well, they're aviation dials. A little different.
Yeah.
But basically, it's 40s technology, and we haven't changed. There's an ILS system here, which is for safety, flying on instruments. We have an ADF and a Loran. Other than that, this is a completely stock cockpit, and this is what the guys during World War II would have seen.
A lot of dials, a lot of gauges, huh?
A lot of levers, gauges, dials. It's the way it was.
Incredible. This has been a great tour. Thank you, Jim. And I'm
pleasure.
going to take us out of here now. Let's get this thing started up. Where's the key?
Yeah, clear 3. Let's go.
From C, New Hampshire, thanks a lot for tuning in. Tune in every week for all kinds of good stuff, as you've seen today. Or go to our website at the letter C, newhampshire.com, and see all the other shows and segments we have on there. Thanks for tuning in.